I've seen you move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. You made a way where there was no rain, and I believe I'll see you do it again. Your promise still stands, great is your faithfulness.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, you're very much welcome. I'm Julia Gidoi, a mother of two boys, Clarence being the firstborn who is 8 years old, and Caleb being the secondborn who is almost 5 months old. I post weekly videos of parenting and lifestyle, so kindly subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever I post any videos. Today, I'm going to tell you about my pregnancy and labor story. So here we go. I got my firstborn at the age of 23. So there's not so much I knew about pregnancy because I was still very naive. But thanks to Google, I was able to learn a few things here and there, which helped me in my pregnancy journey and in the preparation for delivery. Though, truth be told, when it comes to pregnancy, experiences differ, both during the pregnancy journey and the delivery journey. However, here is how my journey was. With my firstborn, I got minimal heartburn. I did not get morning sickness at all, nausea, and I could eat almost anything. With my secondborn, however, I got morning sickness, serious morning sickness. I also got serious nausea. I could eat something and within the next few minutes it was out. And in as much as I got tablets to help with that, they didn't help much. They only helped for some time and then they stopped helping. You can't really be taking tablets which do not even taste good during the entire pregnancy, because with pregnancy you don't want something that is not making your tummy feel happy, in quotes. With my secondborn, I also had bloated stomach. My stomach could be bloated almost throughout, from the first trimester to the last trimester. And I was also very choosy with what I was eating. As I've said, with my firstborn, I could eat almost everything. But with my secondborn, I was very choosy until it got to a point where I did not have a choice of too many things that I could eat. With my secondborn, I had serious fatigue. Although even with my firstborn, I had fatigue here and there, especially during the first trimester. I was quite fatigued. And of course, during the end of the pregnancy journey, I was also quite fatigued for both my firstborn and my secondborn. However, with my secondborn, I was fatigued from the first trimester to the last trimester, like seriously fatigued. I could do a few chores here and there, and within a few minutes I was down, literally down. With my second pregnancy also, I was very much irritated by smells, to the point that I had to change my perfumes about 3 times, the scents, 3 times. Then there was labor. This is the real deal now. With my firstborn, I was not even sure it was labor I was experiencing when it checked in. I just noticed a bloody show. And I was also diarrheaing. To me, I honestly thought that when labor checks in, the first thing that you get is the pain that everyone is always talking about, which was not the case. The contractions started coming in hours later after I had noticed the bloody show, and they went on up to around 6:30 p.m. That was when I got my firstborn. It was with my firstborn, it was a normal delivery. I did not have any issues, in as much as the contractions were quite something. I could say it went well, because actually I didn't even have these dramatic labor stories that I hear. I did not have that dramatic labor, and I actually thank God that I had a very good nurse who was attending to me, because she was really hands-on with my progress. As my labor was progressing, as the contractions were progressing, she was really hands-on, and she actually advised me that the best thing is to walk around. So I did not have the strength to walk very far, so all I did, I could walk just a small distance, like 10 steps, and then I go back, 10 steps, I go back, like that. And I want to believe it really helped. She also advised me to take hot water with very conch tea leaves and sugar, a lot of sugar. Apparently, that is one of the ways you can use to fasten the contractions. My second born, however, I had gone for a baby bump photo shoot that day. It was a Saturday, and I had gone for a baby bump photo shoot at around 4 p.m. And earlier that day, I noticed that every time I was going for a short call, I could feel some wetness in my inners. Immediately, I left the washroom, and that progressed. At first, I thought it's the normal way that a pregnant woman goes to the loo, and you don't finish the job. So once you're out, that is when it comes out. Until later on, as we were in the photo shoot session, I realized that the wetness was way more than it was that morning, to the point that I could sit down and my dress was getting soaked. But once I got home, I noticed that it was way too much than it was earlier. And that is when I called my nurse friend and I asked her, is it possible for water to break in small portions? And she was like, absolutely, that is very possible. And that was so new to me, because I always knew that when you're in labor and your water breaks, it breaks all at once. That was my experience with my firstborn. My water broke at once, and then after a few minutes, I gave birth to my firstborn. I was quite shocked because I didn't expect that. I was also not in pain at all, and that was one of the reasons why I couldn't even imagine that could be labor. So when she confirmed that it is very possible for water to break in portions, I had to take my bags and I had to rush to hospital. So once I got to hospital, the doctor advised that the best way was to have me induced, because according to him, I was supposed to give birth within 24 hours from the time my water had started to come out. So I was like, if that's the way, then well and good. I only hear stories of what induction feels like, and I can tell you for sure that induction is no joke. The pain of natural labor and that of induction are two different experiences, totally. I went to hospital at around 7 p.m. and I was admitted after they had run a few tests. Besides that, by the time I was going to hospital, I had some discharge. According to them, it could have been that the baby was already distressed. He had pooped in my stomach, in quotes. They were calling it meconium. So, but they were still not sure if that was it. And they advised me to put on a sanitary towel so that they can monitor it. And by the following morning, because I was induced at 5 a.m. the following morning, that was Sunday morning, the discharge was quite much compared to what it was the previous night. And that was when they actually confirmed that the baby had already pooped in my stomach. Then after being induced, now that is when the pain started coming. And I can tell you, it was literally instant. Like I was induced, and within no time, I started experiencing the contractions. So by around 9 a.m., that is when my water broke, all of it now. So they checked me, and they realized that I was only dilated 5 centimeters. The doctor was like, the baby needs to come out as soon as now. So that means you have to go for emergency C-section. And I can tell you for sure that when I heard that, as much as I wanted my baby out safe and sound, and for me to also have a safe delivery, I panicked. Because at the back of my mind, I knew that I was going to have a normal delivery. Probably because I had a normal delivery with my firstborn, and I was only 23, so I was expecting this time it's going to be a walk in the park, because it's my second experience. And I can tell you for sure that every pregnancy is a new experience, totally new experience. That was the case for me, and I'm sure it is the case for many other people. After I delivered my son, my secondborn now, I told myself that if only I had put it in mind that it could go either way. It could go normal delivery, it could go C-section. Because if I had put it in mind that way, first of all, I could not have panicked. Secondly, I could have been psychologically prepared that I could go to theater. Because being the first time in theater, it's a big deal. I'm not lying to you, it's a big deal when you're walking to theater or when you're being wheeled to the theater. The thing that runs across your mind is someone is about to slice my stomach. Yes. And I think that is the reason why I panicked, because theater was nowhere in my mind. So I would advise any lady out there who is expectant and who is trying for a baby, have it in mind that it could go either way. And the other thing that made me panic is because there's this myth that when you exercise enough, like walk as much as possible, you are more likely to have a normal delivery, because walking especially is one of the best exercises for the pelvic bone. And I can tell you for sure that with my firstborn, I walked, serious walking. And with my secondborn, I also walked. I really walked actually, because I knew that it helped me. I assumed that it helped me with my firstborn. So I was hoping it was going to help me have a normal delivery with my secondborn. and that was not the case anyway. But all in all, I still thank God that it went well. I went to theater, I came out, the C-section was successful, and my baby was healthy. But one thing I can tell you for sure is that C-section is not as simple as people put it. Because I always thought that a C-section, I actually thought that it's very easy to have your baby via C-section until after I experienced it and I did some research on C-section, which I wish I had done before, and I realized that it's really not just someone slicing your tummy and bam, your baby is out. No, that's not it. There is more to a C-section than we all hear about. Because truth is, once you've done a C-section, there are two things that you nurse. You nurse your wound and you also nurse your baby. And I can tell you for sure that the pain that comes after a C-section, this is something I wish someone had told me, but I'll tell it to you for free, that the pain that comes after a C-section from the wound is serious pain, but if we have gone through it, then anybody can go through it. Just like with labor, if I went through it at 23, anyone can go through it. So that was my experience. I had my firstborn via normal delivery and he was 3 kgs at birth, and I had my secondborn via C-section and he was 3.5 kgs. So guys, that was my pregnancy and labor story for my firstborn versus my secondborn. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video, and I look forward to interacting with you. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to us building a community. I look forward to seeing you back again in my next videos. Tell your friends to tell their friends to subscribe and hit the notification bell, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And until next time, it has been awesome as always talking to you. Goodbye.